Massive news. IQD begins. 3-0 notes are being taken in. Now is your time to win Iraqi Dinar. Welcome back to RV News, the go-to source for breaking updates, deep insights, and reliable intel on the global currency revaluation movement. If you're holding on to Iraqi Dinar and waiting for your moment, this could be the update you've been waiting for. We dive into every corner of the news cycle to bring you the latest, and today's development is absolutely massive. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit that button and tap the bell icon so you're always in the loop. Because what we're about to share with you today could change your future, especially if you've been closely watching the IQD. Now let's get straight into it. After years of speculation, rumors, false starts, and what seemed like endless delays, the tide is finally turning. The revaluation of the Iraqi dinar, something that has long been prophesied, debated, and anticipated by investors around the world, has officially begun. Multiple credible sources have confirmed that the process of absorbing the large 3-0 notes is now underway. Yes, you heard that right. The Central Bank of Iraq has initiated the removal of the high denomination notes from circulation. This is a telltale sign that the RV process is no longer just talk. It's happening. For those unfamiliar, the 3-0 notes refer to the 25,000, 10,000, and 5,000 Iraqi dinar bills, notes that were introduced in the post-war economy and served as a temporary solution to stabilize the country. These notes were never meant to be permanent. They were printed in large quantities to facilitate transactions in an economy suffering from inflation and instability. But now, with Iraq making major progress economically, politically, and financially, these high-denomination notes are being phased out. This move signals a transition to a more stable, revalued currency framework that aligns Iraq with international economic standards. What makes this moment even more significant is that this is not a hypothetical future plan. This is real-time action. Reports from banking insiders and sources close to currency exchange centers confirm that the central bank has started pulling these large notes out of circulation. In fact, several private banks in Iraq have already been given clear instructions on how to handle the note intake process. They are accepting 3-0 notes, documenting every transaction carefully, and reporting directly to Baghdad. The shift is subtle, but powerful. When a country begins collecting its old high-value notes, it's laying the groundwork for a reset in the value of its currency. And here's why that matters. When a country absorbs high-denomination notes and begins to transition to lower-denomination bills, it's preparing to assign greater value to its currency. In other words, if you're holding on to those 25,000 IQD notes, the time to act is now. As those notes are withdrawn, their scarcity will increase, and the transition to a higher rate becomes inevitable. This isn't a drill. This is the beginning of the endgame we've all been waiting for. Let's talk about the evidence. Several financial sources in the region have come forward with documentation confirming that the central bank has finalized contracts with global accounting and auditing firms to oversee the RV implementation. That's right. International oversight is being built into the process. This is not a backdoor deal or a secretive maneuver. Iraq is making moves in the open, under the watch of international institutions. And when that happens, it means transparency, accountability, and above all, legitimacy. This is one of the clearest signs yet that the Iraqi dinar is on a path toward true revaluation. But that's not all. There are also strong signals from global financial platforms that rates for the IQD are being updated quietly in the background. Several foreign exchange terminals have noted unusual back-end activity tied to the dinar, and rate placeholders are appearing in databases where before there were none. This kind of technical prep work doesn't happen for no reason. It happens when something big is about to be rolled out. Rate testing, internal simulations, and system updates are often the final steps before a currency is made live for public exchange. That's what's happening now, according to those monitoring the FX platforms closely. The timing of all this is also incredibly important. Iraq's recent agreements with neighboring countries, particularly in trade and energy, have strengthened the nation's economic stability. With oil production steadily climbing and large contracts being inked with China, Turkey, and the Gulf states, Iraq is securing long-term revenue. Add to that the recent push to de-dollarize their economy, and you've got a formula for reasserting the power of the Iraqi dinar. The removal of the dollar in internal transactions and the preference for IQD in government contracts signals that Iraq is moving away from reliance on foreign currencies and restoring faith in its own. Furthermore, IMF representatives have reportedly been in private talks with Iraqi financial leaders. While the details of those meetings remain classified, insiders say the tone was optimistic, and the focus was squarely on currency reform. The IMF has a long-standing relationship with Iraq, and any major change in valuation would almost certainly involve coordination with the fund. That coordination appears to be well underway. Sources suggest benchmarks have been met, inflation is being managed, and reserves are in a strong enough position to support the transition. Now let's address a critical part of this unfolding event, the process for those holding 3-0 notes outside Iraq. Many viewers have asked, what does this mean for me, especially if I'm holding these notes in the US, Canada, Australia, or Europe? Here's the answer. Redemption protocols are being finalized as we speak. Several Tier 1 banks in North America have reportedly been briefed about incoming procedures for IQD redemptions. While no public rate has been released yet, internal memos suggest that bank personnel are being trained on how to identify authentic notes, manage customer expectations, and provide secure exchange services. This is more than just speculation. This is preparation. Even more intriguing are the reports coming in from currency dealers. Major brokers have suddenly and quietly limited sales of large IQD notes in recent days. Some dealers are even removing the 25,000 note entirely from their websites. Why? Because the market is shifting. As the central bank reclaims the notes, fewer will be available on the open market, increasing their rarity and potentially their exchange value. The laws of supply and demand are starting to kick in, and smart investors are moving quickly to secure their position before the window closes. The sentiment across the dinar community is electric right now. Social media platforms, chat forums, and investor groups are buzzing with anticipation. There's a growing consensus that we are on the cusp of something historic. For years, many were ridiculed for believing in the RV, told it was a scam or a fantasy. But the facts we're seeing today tell a different story. This is not blind belief. This is strategic patience finally being rewarded. It's also worth noting the changes in Iraq's political climate. Stability has returned in many parts of the country, and the government under Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani has shown a clear commitment to reform. Unlike past administrations, this leadership is actively working with financial regulators, economists, and international allies to secure Iraq's fiscal sovereignty. And part of that mission is restoring the true value of the national currency. The current administration understands that the Iraqi people deserve a strong, stable, and respected dinar, not a bloated system filled with unnecessary zeros. There's also talk of special rates being offered to certain holders under a structured redemption plan. While these details are still under wraps, some insiders say that those with verified holdings and proper documentation may qualify for preferred exchange options. This could include pre-booked appointments at designated financial institutions, or redemption centers as they are sometimes called. The key word here is documentation. If you're holding dinar, make sure your notes are verified, stored safely, and you have proof of purchase. The smoother your paperwork, the smoother your exchange experience is likely to be. So what should you do now? First and foremost, stay calm and informed. Do not rush to sell your notes out of fear or impatience. As the RV process rolls out, clarity will follow. Be wary of misinformation and stick to trusted sources. And of course, keep tuning into RV News. We'll be following this story every step of the way and bringing you updates as they happen. If there are announcements, rate releases, or new instructions from financial institutions, you'll hear about it here first. Also, begin thinking about your post-RV plans. If the value of your dinar holdings multiplies overnight, how will you manage that wealth? Have a strategy. Talk to financial advisors who understand foreign currency gains, tax implications, and smart investment strategies. This is not just about cashing out, it's about building a future. Your preparation today will determine your security tomorrow. Let's be real. We've waited a long time for this. Many people got into the dinar investment 10, 15, even 20 years ago. Some gave up, some held on, and some doubled down. Now it seems that patience is being rewarded. The global financial system is changing, and Iraq is stepping onto the world stage with a new sense of purpose. The Revaluation